Greetings, all! Today, we'll be examining the mythical dark grass-type Pokemon Zarude, the Rogue Monkey Pokémon. Vicious in their temperament and more than attuned to the natural world around them, Zarude are wild beasts that can more than make use of the nature-based powers at their disposal to tear others asunder when they least expect it.
Zarude have monkey-like forms to them, with black fur-covered bodies that sport long arms and shorter legs with 5 digits each on each of their hands and feet, 4 fingers and an opposable thumb, as well as grey chest, back, palm, and sole markings, and a black tail that ends in a tuft of hair. Their upper arms have a coil of green vines growing out of them and around them, with some leaves and vine material visibly growing out of the base of their neck, and their head is a curved form to the top with raised ear flanges on the side in a V shape, and further sport light grey face markings across their pointed snout, razor-sharp teeth, and red eyes, further sporting tufts of black hair on the shoulders and the base of their neck. Little is concretely known about Zarude and their behavior, as a result of their extremely elusive natures, hiding in forests and jungles and small pockets around areas like the Galar region, among other locations. But from what is known, it can be said with certainty that they are not the kind of creature that you want to have to challenge in any sort of fight. Zarude are highly territorial and ruthless to those that get in their way, living in isolated packs of dozens of members around water sources, where they claim dominance and essentially serve as the gatekeepers to such waters, with little interest in sharing them. Their aggressive nature makes them fairly unpopular among the wild Pokemon that dwell around them, and are more or less feared by all others for their vicious tendencies and lack of desire for active communication and alliance, which can make them standoffish enough to make it impossible for other species of Pokemon to work with them.
This doesn't seem to deter them all that much though, as these creatures are more than capable of fending for themselves as a result of the special prehensile vines that are a natural part of their anatomy.
As with similar plant and animal pairings, these vines are the result of a biological fusion of plant and animal material over the course of time, but they more than have a handle over the plant material in their body, with thick vines wrapped around their arms for ready use, as well as vines near the base of their neck and feet that are just barely visible when they are not extended. These vines not only serve as useful weapons in battle, but allow these beasts to swing from tree to tree with little issue, and can even be used to draw power from the surrounding landscape in order for them to use their signature jungle healing technique, which allows them to restore the energy of all nearby allies and themselves by a bit, as well as get rid of any non-volatile status conditions. The fact that the signature technique is one of healing, and not offense, clearly shows these otherwise aggressive beasts are capable of using the natural world to help others, though it seems that this is typically reserved to healing other members of their own kind. Moreover, if the vines in their body are torn off, they instantly degrade into a powerful fertilizer that can make it possible to grow plants quicker than normal, and in turn, help their forest and jungle homes recuperate from serious disasters more readily, clearly showing the deep connection they have with their habitats, and in turn why they're able to keep their own parts of the world fairly habitable and perfect for supporting their herbivorous lifestyle, even if getting close to them is an ill-advised move. Not only does this resonate with them physically, and grant them access to Leaf Guard as their only ability, but it also renders them incredibly powerful fighters, with only their base special attack set being below average for a fully evolved Dark and Grass-type Pokemon, and grants them the highest base stat total out of all Grass-type Pokemon, tied with Celebi and Shaman, making any encounter with them a tense situation for both sides.
While it is especially difficult to find these creatures in the isolated lands they call home, there is at least one instance, the recent Biotope incident, that has highlighted their existence in the wild.
During an expedition to the forest of Akoya, said in legend to contain a powerful tree that grants healing properties to the waters that flow through it, the leaders of the Biotope Company, a husband and wife, were involved in a serious car accident that killed them and left their baby son stranded in the forest, only to be discovered by a Zarude, who was apparently kicked out of the local group of its ilk because humans were not allowed in the territory, and he refused to let the child go alone. Over the course of the next 10 years, the Zarude, who came to be known as Dada by his adopted son, who himself was named Coco, lived together as father and son, the Zarude raising the child as his own. Moreover, he took to tying around his neck a scented scarf of sorts to help him to calm the infant as he took care of him, and came to draw on advanced special powers from his bond with the child. However, it was at this time that the Biotope Company returned to the area for research, led by Professor Zed, in an effort to analyze the healing properties of the waters in the forest and try and find its source for use in medical advancements. It was at this time that Coco was exposed to humans for the first time, making friends with a young trainer who happened to be visiting the area, before learning the truth about his heritage from the aforementioned professor, and eventually Dada, returning to the forest to confront the Zarude living around the great tree that the company had been seeking for years. However, what he did not know at the time was that Professor Zed had put a tracker on him, so he and the rest of the research team could find the great tree at the heart of the forest. While it seemed that they were solely there to study the healing effects of the water that came forth through and from the tree, Professor Zed quickly took control of the situation and attacked the tree with a massive mechanoid designed for cutting down trees and clearing land, only caring about what its properties could do for humanity, and clearly not the Pokemon that made this land their home, the Zarude included. In fact, it was revealed that this treachery stemmed from a much deeper source, as his bosses 10 years ago, Coco's real parents, had stated that they would stop their research until they could find a way to examine the tree and its ecosystem without disturbing the native Pokemon. In response, so the couple erased all of the data they gathered on the Great Tree and its waters, Zed ultimately ran them off the forest path in his own vehicle, leading to the tragic death of Coco's parents. Though it took effort from Coco, the Zarude, his trainer friend, and all the Pokemon in the forest, the group were finally able to stop Professor Zed's efforts, and ultimately, he was arrested when data on his crimes leaked to the press. The Biotope Company would go on to work to repair the damage the machines had done to the land and the Great Tree. While in search of his future destiny, Coco left his home, going out to explore the world on an adventure of his own.
To say that not much is really known about Zarude and their natural habitat is an understatement, but what little we have been able to glimpse into shows them to be both some of the best and worst creatures to be around in the middle of a lush natural environment. On the one hand, they are indeed rather brutish and nasty towards others who will claim large areas of territory for their own without a thought, and effectively make it mandatory for others that want to use their claimed resources to plead for it to some extent or another. On the other hand, though, they will in turn fiercely protect their territory and all those that are in them with their lives. This can make them very difficult to approach in any real way, and a pain for some even, but at the very least, cool heads tend to prevail once they understand someone isn't a threat to them. Their penchant for staying out of sight makes plenty of sense in this instance, as you'll need some real courage if you want to go out exploring to try and find them, and see if you can match up to the natural powers both offensively and defensively in practice.
While they might be so hard to locate that it's unlikely that most will ever come across one in the thick of their jungle and forested lands, Zarude are still fierce creatures that can make their presence more than known when called for. Their gifted healing abilities might not be something that most will see outside of rare circumstances, but it helps them to stand out from other grass types and supplies any and all allies on their side with the right amount of care to keep a pack of them healthy and ready to take on anything.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure you give them a wide berth in the wild if you find more than one in an area, as the numbers will likely be too much to handle once the fists and bonded plant start to unleash a real sampling of Mother Nature's wrath.
Thank you all for watching this video. It always brings me great joy to see others enjoying the work I do to try and make the world of Pokemon and the fascinating creatures that lay inside of it feel as real as they possibly can. If you really enjoy my work, please feel free to leave a comment and subscribe, as I always do my best to respond to any and all comments that are left on my videos. In addition, if you wish to learn more about my work and help support it, you can find links to my Patreon page, as well as email and other contact information to my work on DeviantArt in the video description down below. Furthermore, you can find a link to my Discord server there as well if you'd like to get a first glimpse at what videos are coming up next and converse with other fans of the world of Pokemon. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and have a wonderful rest of your day.